And thank you, God, for Bo Nix. That is right, y'all. It's the Sermon of Quack. When it's Sunday morning and my instant Re-Quacktion comes out, that means, well, first of all, I was tired. That I stayed up too late watching Pac-12 After Dark. Luckily, Colorado is still undefeated, so the hype is still alive with Coach Prime. But yeah, it took me a little later than I thought. So it's a Sunday morning show, and it's the best kind of Sunday morning show. It's the morning show after a victory. That is right, a big time victory. Well, the score was big anyways. The opponent maybe not so prime as the one after, but 55-10 over Hawaii. We love Hawaii. We're absolutely rooting for Hawaii. Timmy Chang, we want that program to be as great as it was back in the day when you were playing it. Absolutely rooting for it. It was nice that so much of the money went to the to Hawaii in general. That definitely makes you want to go to the game, want to support the team. Absolutely. But I've got 12 Re-Quactions. Instant Re-Quactions. Is that what I'm calling it? I don't know. These questions for me, I guess. Number one, perfect first quarter. Was that a perfect first quarter from the Oregon Ducks? I know the opponent isn't as tough as the rest of the season is going to be, most likely. Well, I don't know. Maybe they put up more of a fight than Stanford will. Though Stanford and Hawaii played each other. And it was close for a bit. But, yeah, it'll definitely be a step up in competition. However, that could have been as well as you can play in the first quarter. I mean, there was we forced a 3-and-out, a real quick 3-and-out. Then 2 plays, 59-yard score to Tez Johnson, brother-to-brother connection. You love to see it. Then we had the Kyrie Jackson interception. That's 2 interceptions for him in a row in 2 games, redeeming himself after a few mistakes from last game. 43-yard field goal from my man, Camden Lewis. I mean, he's getting so much more respect than we were giving. Well, than he deserved early in his career, but also just in general, I love to see all the Oregon Duck fans loving him. He even got the photo shoot. He had him miss last practice because he was too busy with our wonderful social media team at U of O. Oh man, they're killing it. But yeah, it was nice to see him be the model for the new uniform. Then there was a 15-yard shaker pass, and that was probably one of their biggest plays, their most explosive plays. So hey, I'll take that. We forced a punt though shortly after that. Then 7 plays, 91 yards for the Ducks, another score. Then another forced punt. Then 10 plays, 67 yards, another score. So I don't know. I mean, hopefully we get a lot more first quarters like that. If we answer Colorado immediately with just a dominant first quarter, I don't think they'll be able to respond, honestly. So, yeah. Number 2 in the instant Re-Quactions. I don't know why I'm so shocked that I'm going to number 2, but here we go. Number 2, tight end display. Yes, it's a funny thing to say, but our tight ends were fully on display, and the best part about it all, as far as we could see, Patrick Herbert was there. He was dominant. He was blocking people like crazy. Of course, Terrence Ferguson. We still haven't seen a truly explosive offensive game from Terrence Ferguson. He's had some big plays. I definitely remember a couple of big plays to extend some drives against Texas Tech. He looked good in this one in limited time. But I mean, we also had Kenyon Sadiq was out there, the freshman. Casey Kelly was out there, the transfer. Actually, there was that fun play where Kenyon Sadiq actually ran the ball, got 12 yards off of it too. That was fun to watch. We had those sets where 3 tight ends came out. These big boy packages, hard to deal with. Yeah, definitely hard to deal with when you're Hawaii and got undersized line. So it's just nice to see this many tight end options, this many offensive threats, big boy offensive threats. Gotta love it. Number 3, Bo Nix, the steady hand. Now, Bo Nix was not perfect in this game. Bo Nix was not perfect in Texas Tech either. But I don't think we're asking him to be perfect. It's just now that's kind of the standard almost with Bo Nix, is you're looking at the mistakes he's making. He did miss Troy Franklin twice. Barely, but he did miss Troy Franklin twice. You could see the frustration on his face. He also missed Tez Johnson on a deep ball. And there's a moment where Tez Johnson's kind of like, calm down. And he did. And then he found him in the end zone later on that same drive, if I remember correctly. Bo Nix has the most starts out of any, I'm pretty sure, player in college football right now. Certainly FBS quarterback. And he's on pace to be, in general, most starts out of any player college football with all the COVID years and everything. So it's amazing. He is a sure thing. There's only a handful of quarterbacks that are doing better than him right now in the country, and most of them are in the Pac-12. Michael Penix and Caleb Williams, you hate to say it, but they are, they're top tier. Bo Nix is there, but it's really going to come down to how those individual quarterbacks play or drag their team across the finish line when we all go against each other. Pac-12 play is going to be brutal. We need a player like Bo Nix. Thank God we have him. And he's top in the country. We all know Bo. And he's a wonderful guy to know. Number 4, elite offense. Elite offense. 560 yards, 333 passing yards, 227 rushing yards. We assumed it was going to be something like this against Hawaii, and it was. I mean, you look through the week, there's a whole lot of teams playing down. Look what Alabama was doing, Look what Texas was struggling mighty with Wyoming until they weren't. But maybe Wyoming's a better team than we thought, too. I mean, I hope so. We didn't play them, but Texas Tech played them, and it still somewhat helps our strength of schedule, P.S. Portland State, oh my God. They laid 90 points on North American, which is a school, I guess. I don't know. I know, I know it's a continent, but yes. Offense, what can you say besides you did your thing? Holy cow. I believe, I didn't really look into it, but we're probably averaging the most points out of all college football right now. Helps when you played Portland State in week 1 and then still scored 35 points or so against Texas Tech. We'll see if we can continue it. Number 5, running back battle. Toss-up. Now, I say toss-up because there was a lot of really fun little tosses, little pitches in this game that add a big wrinkle to Will Stein's offense. They're very fun to see. Many of them obviously going to the running backs. And we had 5 running backs really play in this game. But we all know it's going to come down to Noah Whittington, Jordan James, and Bucky Irving. Bucky Irving definitely had the most hype from fans, even though it's, Noah Whittington, Bucky Irving. That's 1A, 1B, really. Though it's actually, through these first 3 games, maybe you'd give the edge to Noah Whittington. That he's been a little more sure of a thing. Bucky Irving has been great, but, he is averaging a few less yards. There's a few mistakes from everyone, like Noah Whittington dropped a ball, but then immediately redeemed it by getting in the end zone. Jordan James playing a little less of a role, but still, greatly increased from last season. Clearly not just short yardage thing. and is probably the most powerful running back. Though Noah Whittington is very elite pass catcher too. I mean, I shouldn't say elite pass catcher, but when you're dumping it off to him, usually he's got that thing firmly in his hands and is getting a ton of yards, even after the contact. I'm not bashing Bucky Irving. He got 12 carries for 59 yards in this game. Noah Whittington got the long of 41 yards. Bucky Irving's still great. I still think Noah Whittington and Bucky Irving are basically, the two guys. But, yeah, Whittington's really impressed me right now. We're in good shape overall, but it is a battle. And I'm not sure anyone's going to, quote-unquote, win this battle, as in earn more playing time than the other. I think there's always going to be a room that we're switching back and forth in. But, yeah, it's a toss-up, but it's a good thing. You want the competition. You want the battle. Number 6, Tez Johnson. Tez Johnson, that connection between his brother, Bo Nix, and him, it's a fun thing to report on. It's a fun thing to watch. It's very clear. Every touchdown he throws to Tez Johnson, against Tech and against Hawaii, they've meant a lot. Bo Nix is the first guy over there running, sprinting, congratulating him, talking real close with him. It's very fun to see. And Tez Johnson is becoming, one of our best, if not the best, receiving threat right now. Troy Franklin and him. We've got a lot of really great receivers, but it's clear Tez Johnson has forced himself in the conversation as the go-to guy even. And it helps because people got to worry about Troy Franklin. You got to have a man or two covering him. And so that helps, attack from the slot like Tez Johnson is doing. But, and there's plenty others that, like Trayshawn Holden had himself a hell of a game. 2 TDs and just looks elite. He took that slant to the house. It was awesome. Gary Bryant Jr. is still a great player. Still got many, many passing threats, but Tez Johnson's been real fun. Number 7, penalty problem? Oh, yeah. We did better. 9 penalties as opposed to what was it, 14 penalties last time for 124 yards. Now it's 9 penalties for 76 yards. It kind of is easy to divide it between first string and not first string. The first half, a little bit into the second half, we had many of the first stringers on there. The disconcerting one is Powers Johnson got 2. This is after getting 3 against Texas Tech. They were different, though. They were not false starts. They were ineligible receivers downfield. That's, RPO. The timing will be off. I'm guessing it seemed like it was split, like maybe one was on Powers Johnson, and then in the second half when it happened, that may have been an issue with Ty Thompson timing. Ty Thompson had a great game, don't get me wrong, but that may have been kind of something there by reading body language and stuff. You'd hope so. We know Powers Johnson is working on it. We know that Dan Lanning afterwards said, if you get penalties called on you, you're not playing. Now, I'm not sure how much of that threat will exist when we're talking about the left tackle, a very talented left tackle. Seems like, maybe it'd just be a drive. You take him out, put someone in. But, yeah, it is a little concerning. Otherwise, we had the Terrence Ferguson illegal touching. Yeah, he'll learn from that, Would have been a TD if he stayed in, though. We had a personal foul. We had Brandon Dorless roughing the passer. Not good, but we had pressure. That's good. Dante Manning had 2 of them. We had an offside that I think it was 4th and 6 or something like that. They go for the field goal. There's an offside. It becomes a 4th and 1. And then he had a defensive pass interference, and Dan Lanning was heated. You could tell by that one. I think he takes especially the pass interference personally. Lanning does. Especially after against Texas Tech when Kyrie Jackson like wasn't even looking behind. They worked on that all week. Maybe he was talking a little bit about Manning more so. I'm not sure you can keep your spot if you keep playing like this. Maybe Jaleel Florence, gets even more playing time. Who knows? But not to, single Manning out a bit. But and then otherwise we had like Solomon Davis got a defensive pass interference. Nico Reed, kind of backup. Pretty late in the game. But still 9 at home. We need to clean that up. I mean, sure, Colorado State got like a billion penalties against Colorado and still pushed them, but still. Which leads us straight into number 8. Secondary solidifying. This was a huge problem for us last season. I'm feeling better and better about it. Transfer from Alabama, Kyrie Jackson had a great game. Got the 1 turnover. Tysheem Johnson, I'm more and more impressed every single time I'm watching this guy. Honestly, I think he was a huge get. Both those transfers have proved very valuable. Good experience. Evan Williams, also another brother connection, right? Evan Williams looking good. Had a few moments, a little shaky, but absolutely good. I mean, against Hawaii, we really shut him down. And then Dante Manning, as I was saying, he's going to need to clean it up. But overall, I mean, holy cow. We held this offense that is not tearing a bunch of teams up, but usually picks up good yards, We held them to just 142 yards through the air with a lot of our backups in after a while. So that's wonderful. Also got that pick. Braden Shager, 27 of 43, 131 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. I'll take it. The touchdown, as we all know, was late in the game. So the secondary is becoming much less of a problem. Number 9, garbage time is good. Yes, it's boring to watch. I'm sure quite a bit of you Duck fans turned over to Colorado State when it was, more than over. I, on the other hand, it is my sacred duty to always watch every minute of the Duck game. One screen. I'm not watching any other game. This one was kind of hard, but garbage time is good because we get the practice for other players. That is solid, especially when we're getting players like so many freshmen got in there. Solomon Davis, who got a penalty, but still. Roderick Pleasant, Jerry Mixon, Tatum Tuioti, Dalen Austin, Blake Purchase. I mean, this is what made us so good during the Chip Kelly era, is all these blowouts made it so our, freshmen or just the bench players could get in there and we could just get better and better. It would see like Steve Stevens get a lot of playing time and actually look good. He's been on the roster forever, but, he may need to step up if anyone gets injured, if any of our starters. Austin Novosad, obviously, if we're getting that deep, then that means good things. And Ty Thompson, straight up looked good. Again, against Hawaii. But this season, he seems to really be making his case for, week 1 of next season, I want to be the guy. I want to be the guy who, if the job's not mine, I was good enough to at least get a shot at it. Maybe he's good enough to keep it. He looked solid. We had Lamar and Dowdell, 2 running backs of the future. Get late play. But yeah, garbage time is good. Number 10, Rainbow Warriors rule. We just have to say this. I'll just put this up the entire time I'm talking about them. Hawaii we're rooting for you so hard. Timmy Chang, I think it's a great hire, as in this is a guy you just want to rally around through the, what will most likely be bad for a while, through the bad, and then hopefully then the good. Hopefully this is enough goodwill towards Hawaii Rainbow Warriors that this team can be a threat in the Mountain West, or maybe even in the new Pac-12 or Pac-20 or Pac-West, whatever they're going to call it, if Hawaii gets the invite. I would love it. They can replace us and just dominate the Pac conference. But yeah, our hearts go out to them. It was nice that there was so much fundraising events going on. They were great guests. Really want them to just dominate the rest of their schedule. Yeah, go Hawaii, go Rainbow Warriors. They're a cool school to root for. And yes, we love them. Oh, Hawaii, and that logo, that old school logo is so good. Number 11, undefeated in the turnover war. This has got to be great. I mean, even with Ty Thompson getting a lot of playing time in the first game and in the third game, and Novosad, honestly, even with that close game in Texas Tech, we are dominating the turnover battle. We have thrown 0 interceptions. We have lost 0 fumbles. And as of right now, especially thanks to Tyler Shuck, we are 6-0 in the turnover battle. That is amazing. We are winning. That's hardly a battle. Let's keep it up against Colorado. I mean, if we don't turn the ball over against Colorado, if we limit the penalties to, under 9, then I think we got a real shot at dominating Colorado. I've said that. I thought we were going to dominate against Texas Tech, so I don't want to jinx us. But, yeah, absolutely. Hell yeah, baby. Now we got one more lovely segment. And I even got this. I never push this button anymore, so might as well.
Bottom 11.
That's right. We've got the bottom 11. The bottom 11 is where we talk about all the other schools that isn't the Oregon Ducks. This is a quick one because we'll talk about these on the main show. This is a boring week. There was some fun, outside of the Pac-12, there was some fun close calls, but overall, typically everyone was playing an opponent that, a cupcake, if you will, someone that they should just dominate. And most of them did dominate. Utah 31-7 over Weber State. Cam Rising still not there. Oregon State probably could have dominated a little bit more, but wins 26-9 over San Diego State. DJU did not have a great game, but overall the team did very well. 31-17 Cal versus Idaho. Listeners, all 3 of us had Idaho. And they took a 17-0 lead against Cal. So it really looked like it was going to happen for us. But then Cal woke up, kind of unfortunately. I mean, it's good for the Pac. And we like Cal. And we love Rob Wong. But, yeah, it was kind of funny. We wanted it to happen. UCLA dominated a team 59-7. That's all we got to say. As did Washington State, 64-21. Washington State and Oregon State absolutely just that underdog mentality, the Pac-2 coming for us. Unfortunately, they play, I believe, in week 4, which is, I don't know, it's unfortunate because you wanted both of them to be undefeated for longer, but still, it's fun to see that. They are legit scary teams. And then Washington, speaking of scary teams, oh my goodness, Michael Penix. I know Michigan State is going through some ridiculous off-field disgustingness, but they also had some disgusting stuff going on the field because at home, 41-7, they are dominated, and it wasn't even that close. Washington carved them apart, humiliated them. Michigan State's offense is terrible, but also Washington helped them look terrible. Got to give them credit. Stanford loses to Sac State. A couple of us did call that, not me, but a couple of us did call that on the show as well, so that feels good at least. We got one of the FCS. That Colorado State game was nutso. It definitely showed Colorado to be more vulnerable than their hype would indicate. Showed Colorado State had a pulse. Hey, made Washington State's win pretty impressive over them in the long run. But, yeah. Oh, boy. Colorado is a-coming with a little less hype. But still undefeated. So that's wonderful. And Travis Hunter, unfortunately, was hospitalized and definitely won't be playing against Oregon, which is a bummer. We wanted to best on best, you know. And it was a pretty nasty hit from the Rams. Speaking of nasty, Fresno State, I knew this would happen. 29-0 against Arizona State. Arizona State is year 0. Just ignore them for this whole year. And then 31-10, Arizona beats UTEP. Congrats, I guess. Long story short, Pac-12 looking damn good still, except for the very bottom. Go Ducks. Go Pac-12. And go celebrate, y'all. We love ya. Now, that was our sermon. I'm Chapman Shamail. We'll see y'all next week. Quack, quack. Quack, quack.